you Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 160, where a podcast talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. Happy Monday. How are you?
Yeah, good. Things are, again, never feels like the weekend or a Monday. They just all feel the same to me. So you're here to remind me.
That's right. You and my daughter, my
Mm,
oldest, has taken to ask me, "What day is this day?" And she means
mm,
like, "What day of the week is it?" Like Monday, Tuesday, because she's starting to figure out like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we go to daycare. Thursday she's at grandma and grandpa's house. So
sure.
obsessed with
Yeah.
what day is this day. So
What I like it
happy to
being
help.
said that way. What day
What
is
day is
this
this
day?
day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beg
kids
your
put these
pardon,
things
madam.
so
What day is this day?
is this day? Yes, if
Yeah.
I'm ever, time traveling and I, don't know what day or year it is. What
Yeah.
year is this year? What day
Yeah.
is this day?
I like it.
Yeah, kids
Perfect.
phrase things so funny sometimes, but sometimes it's just
Mhm.
like, "Oh, that's perfect. Why don't we do that?"
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. All right. Well, tonight we have a movie I haven't seen since I was a kid, and, in Armageddon from 1998. So, yeah. Another movie that I've seen and you hadn't.
True, true. I'd only seen pieces. I was, like, kind of watching it, like, counting, like, the scenes or pieces or whatever that I had. Pretty few, actually. I
Okay.
mean, I got enough of the premise. I mean, it's obviously right there in the title, so, no spoilers
Mhm.
there. Um, but yeah, I was like kind of counting through like what all I had seen. Not
Mhm.
much. Not much.
So, I mean, in Armageddon, there's a giant rock hurtling towards Earth. What rock were you
Spoilers.
living under at the time this came out? I thought this was a cultural touchstone for our age.
It was. I mean, obviously like the song was inescapable. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like there's
Yes,
no
absolutely.
escaping the song if you were ever at a middle or high school ever, because they played it relentlessly at every single dance.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, I just never felt like I needed to see the movie after seeing the video for the song.
Okay.
I don't know. It was like one of
Okay.
those weird things where like everybody was watching it and I was just sort of like, eh, I don't know. Do I really need
Huh.
to? I feel like I have everything. And I would see kind of
Okay.
like bits and pieces on the TV and was just like, I don't know. I don't really get it. It's not drawing me in.
Mhm.
So it's clearly a movie I had to like sit down and focus on to
Okay.
be interested in watching.
Sure. All right. Well, we'll get into that in full a little bit later on. That'll be a fun blast down memory lane for me. But before that, I got another blast down memory lane. I got to talk to you all about a little mini rant, maybe. Um, just a statement that was like boiling for me, and I was like, I got to tell you all about it.
All
It's really
right.
simple. It's really simple.
All right. I
But
am the lucky one.
yeah, yeah.
I am
We'll
the
uh,
chosen.
we'll go through our weeks a bit, and then but we should kick things out with cocktails, I suppose. See what our drink holidays are.
Yes, yes, I can tell you right now, the things I have done in my week are short, but the drinks are long. I was
Mm.
writing them all down. I was like, dang, they keep on coming. Um, so back into February 2/22, February 22nd, it was Margarita Day, a good day, but not one I
Mhm.
am celebrating. An even better day, February 24th, World Bartender Day.
Oh,
Everybody go thank you bartenders because
I
we
should have sent
working
you a
hard.
message, for your
Should have.
former
I'm
service.
hurt. I'm hurt.
Mhm.
uh, February 24th, doubles. I like World Bartender Day, but I like this other holiday kind of even more because I feel like it really fits with our Armageddon theme. It's open that bottle night. So basically, if you have like a fancy or special something you've been saving, just open it. Like,
Do it on the
why not?
24th of
Do
February.
it on the 24th, just whatever.
Hmm.
Every day is a day to celebrate, and it felt, like, really tied into Armageddon, like, if it really were the end of days and the end was coming, would you regret not opening that bottle and always saving it for some other day? So just
Well,
do
if
it.
you're dead, you wouldn't be
Just do it.
regretting much.
Well, maybe, but you never
Yeah.
know, like, as you think about the impending,
Hmm.
I feel
Could
like
you
people
enjoy
don't
it?
necessarily. I don't know. I mean, could you? Would it
Yeah.
maybe take the edge off the giant asteroid hurtling towards Earth?
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, I feel like there are lots of like things out there that are like, don't I wanted to burn the candles that I was saving for that special time or like drink that bottle of wine or there's a lot about, just seizing the moment, doing the thing that um you're putting off for another day and it can take a variety of forms and I feel like this is another one of that form. So,
No, that's a good
open that
point.
bottle.
People are often looking for the perfect time, and then it never comes.
Mhm.
That's great. I mean, and really, as long as you're living in the moment and appreciating what you're doing, it's the right time. You
Right.
know.
It's a great time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much pressure to have the right time that even if it's like, okay, mathematically, we've narrowed it down. Today is the right day because we have this to celebrate. And, there's a lot of pressure then to enjoy it because we figured out the right time to do
Yeah.
it. So, whatever the thing is, it has to be enjoyed because this is the right time. So,
What are
there,
some
there
of the
can
things?
definitely be some retraction to that.
What are some of the things that we're missing that we're putting off that we shouldn't be? Tell the people, Andrea, what are they putting off? They should just get
Uh,
to.
I have been putting off getting another tattoo, and I just scheduled an appointment, so
Oh, bam, bam. I
it's
so
happening.
here's a confession. Ashley was
Ooh.
scheduled for a tattoo, big one, and then
Oh, yeah.
we got pregnant, and it's like, okay, they were gonna allow her to move it back in time and stuff like that.
Right.
Now, she was talking about it, whatever, and for me, it seemed like, is she second guessing it or whatever, and however it came up, I was just saying, like, you know, I don't think tattoos are feminine. Now, I love tattoos, and I love tattoos on women, but if your goal is to be more feminine, adding a tattoo doesn't do it. Like, I've never seen the case where you, like, add a tattoo to your body and then you become more feminine. That doesn't mean that you become not feminine, but this kind of got in her head, and she's like, "Oh my god, he's not gonna see me as feminine or something." And, I think it's a little bit of a, like, cover for I also don't wanna miss all the time in the gym because the healing time that you, like, have to have it
Yeah.
covered and not sweat and all that sort of thing. So now she's just, like, second guessing everything, and I've told her more than once now, like, "Just call, see if you still because the down payment's in there, see if you can still do it, get it in there," and I don't know.
Is
So,
there
maybe you should motivate her some extra, Andrew. You should text her, it's like, "Hey, I thought you were gonna get that
I
awesome
will.
tattoo."
I will. I mean, is there anything smaller that she wants that would, like, reduce all of that? Like, maybe sort of get her back into that mode of,
Hmm.
I do like doing this. I like the way things look. Maybe I will at a later date still commit to the bigger one.
It's a good question. I mean,
Because
I
it
think
would be a
anyone
shame
that's
to
looking
lose
at
her
tattoos
deposit.
and then what's that?
It would be a shame to lose her deposit, even if she's like,
Yeah.
"I don't know if I can still commit to the big one."
Yeah. And maybe it's already happened. I don't know, but that's me. I call and figure it out and talk to them and stuff, and just I think I'm sure there's plenty of other tattoos as well that would be smaller that she'd be interested in. Just talking about like the Vegosphere, whatever Viking kind of symbol,
Yep.
different things like that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've always thought that
but
would look good on her.
she had a really cool design,
I
picked
know,
out, and
I like that idea.
so you just have to miss
Alright.
like a month at the gym, but man, just like extra little prod from Andrea.
Yep. Yep. I will. Don't
Well,
worry.
are you gonna reveal to everybody what you're getting and where?
I will give hints,
Okay.
and then I will show it when it happens.
Okay.
It is a tattoo for both my daughters. It
Okay.
is it is one unified figure, though. It is not like multiple pieces. It is one figure. And currently Chris and I are gonna both get it, and we are looking at placing it on our arm.
Okay. Hmm. I can totally see Chris getting an Eevee tattoo. I can totally see it. Like that
I can
being
totally see that too, actually.
like that being part of it. So no. Okay.
Uh,
All right. Fun. It's fun. Anybody out there, if you have guesses, send them our way. Let us know what you think.
there may or may not be color involved,
Okay.
which is daring for me because I always thought I only wanted black and white, and, we
I
perchance may be getting like a very small hint of color.
okay. Black and white's nice because it lasts so long, you know.
Yeah, it
Color
should
is the
be like
part that
black
goes
and
first.
gray or flesh, really, because it's
Yeah.
not white,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
realized that. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not getting like a white colored tattoo."
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Yeah. Hmm. Okay, well, that's what we got off of
open the
open
day.
that bottle night. Don't let the moment waste away. Don't wait for a time that never comes. Seize, the day.
Seize the day, because there
Mhm.
might be a giant asteroid headed towards Earth. You never
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Or you could be like, another poor city in the film and just not even get the asteroid, but get, like, a fragment out of
Yeah.
nowhere. They got
Right.
no warning,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yep.
Uh, so, yeah, open that bottle, February 24th. Rounding out February drink month holidays, the 27th was National Kahlua Day. So, if you're a fan there, that was your day. I'm kinda disappointed that there's no, like, good drink holiday on Leap Day, because we had one of those this
Mm.
year, and it was fun,
Yeah.
like, it's like, "Alright, Leap Day, let's come
Make a
around."
grasshopper.
Yeah. I guess,
Make a
yeah.
gra
That would
Yeah,
be that would
yeah.
be representative, that'd be a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well,
I was
maybe
just
you
kinda
can come up with one.
Yeah, I should now. Now, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Done. Um, but yeah, the last day for February in this year was the 27th. And then moving on to March, we had a double holiday yesterday, the 3rd. It was both mulled wine day and Irish whiskey day, which is what I'm celebrating.
Nice. Both in one?
No. I did not make a cocktail that has paired those 2. I haven't figured that out. But I made a whiskey sunrise because I wanted to cheers to the end of the movie, they see another sunrise. So,
Nice, yeah. Also spoilers, oh my gosh, I thought maybe
I
the
know.
Earth was done. So, what is in that? What's in that drink? Looks
So
cool.
it is Thank you. So it is grenadine, whiskey, tequila, or excuse me, whiskey, orange juice, tequila sunrise has tequila,
Hmm,
and a little bit of bitters.
cool. Alright.
Ooh.
Nice.
Whiskey,
Potent?
tequila, just,
Yeah.
little slip of the tongue there. Sorry, my bad, y'all.
Okay, I got wait, say something, Andrew, your audio sounded
Oh, hello?
just, died. Let's see. Test,
Yeah,
test.
you cut out for a second there.
Know what's happening. Know what's happening. Okay, alright. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Alright. So my drink, yes, using the Irish whiskey. Um There be. So I did an Irish Negroni. I was just looking up Irish
Ooh,
cocktails. I was gonna
I'm
do
ready for John.
well, I was gonna do just a whiskey ginger. Very simple, but but I mean more ginger ale. And like in-laws have been coming over, and the soda has been consumed. So
Sure.
it's I had to see what else I could do. And the Irish Negroni I found here is just Irish whiskey, Campari, vermouth, and orange. So I put a slice of orange in there. And this is from the Irish Road Trip. It's the
Ooh,
website.
okay.
So they have a list of a number of different cocktails. So
Very
yeah.
cool. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Or did it slancha? Is that Irish?
Something close to that. I know how to
Alan, you
spell
probably
it,
know that.
but I do not know how to
Okay.
pronounce it.
Okay, so but I'm in the right language, your
Yeah,
right culture. Slancha.
it's like Slainte.
Okay, yep. Yep, there, Alan got it. So that's right, but
Ha!
I thought it was
Spelled it correctly.
all
Showing
you
off those English major
Irish
skills.
folks out there, let us know if I'm saying it completely wrong. But
Way to go for it. Way to go for it. It's brave. It's
mhm, yeah, gave it a shot. All right,
bold.
well, that's awesome. We got great minds thinking alike here. Um, see if we think anything alike in our weeks, what we've been consuming.
Yeah, like I said, mine's been pretty light. Obviously I had to make space for Armageddon, which is I almost guessed the runtime. I was pretty dang close.
Okay.
I knew it was close to 2.5 hours, so I was pretty close on guessing. I think I told Chris I thought it was like 2:28. Um,
Okay.
so I
Yeah.
knew it was a longer one. But then, yeah, I just have watched a couple of lighter, more, you know, briefer episodes of
Mhm.
shows. I've caught up on Delicious in Dungeon because I had fallen a little bit behind there. So I went on a binge spree for the last, I think, 4 episodes. And then Chris and I started the new season of Ghosts on
Okay.
CBS, and I freaking love that show. It's so good. So
Nice.
highly recommend. And that's it.
Um, all right. Well, it's simple. Yeah, I'm behind on Delicious in Dungeon, couple episodes at least.
Mhm.
Guess I didn't put it in here, but we have slowly still been watching Apothecary Diaries in no
Yes.
big rush just because it takes a bit for the English versions to come out. So,
Yep.
um, Delicious in Dungeon still holding up?
Yes, it is. It is.
Good.
It's moving into a little bit more backstory, a little bit more like character rounding, and then we're getting introduced to other people. So I think it's doing well to keep a pace,
Okay.
like,
Nice.
of,
Yeah.
of evolution for the show. It's not just like being stagnant.
Yep. Nice. Very good. I tried watching some of Grand Tour because I meant to watch the brand new one that came out, the Grand Tour. That's the Top Gear guys.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, yep.
I
Yep, yep.
usually just say Top Gear, but it's the Grand Tour,
Yep.
and the newest one is called the Sand Job, and I meant to watch that one, but for some reason I clicked on an earlier one, which I haven't seen anyways. So I started watching that. It's a
Yeah,
Grand
do
Tour
it.
Scandi flick. What's that?
Okay. A little happy
Yeah.
accident. Quote
Yeah.
Bob
Right.
Ross.
It's a lot of fun. It's still great. Miss those guys. So that's a good show. And then I've been reading The Art and Soul of Dune in preparation for Dune Part Two. Um,
Yes, I should say I did rewatch the first Dune as well. I was like,
oh,
I wasn't able to get to Dune Part 2 yet. Plans to, but I did rewatch Part 1 just to like get
okay.
myself back there.
Nice. Well, that takes some time then, and I
It does.
considered that, but I'd seen the first one a couple times, and so I thought I would read this book as opposed to rewatching the first movie.
The
But this
first
book is
movie's
so
been
cool.
on TV, like, it's
Oh,
been
really?
playing on multiple channels, and I just happened to catch one time slot where it was, like, super near the beginning, even it wasn't, like, the exact beginning.
Yeah.
I was like, "Close enough, let's just go."
Okay. How did it was how many times have you seen it other than that? Or how many times you see it
Sure.
now? And how does it stack up against previous viewings?
Yeah, so I saw it twice beforehand. Both times I rewatched it. I watched it once and then I rewatched it for the initial podcast that we did talking about Dune. Because the first time I watched it, I wasn't very aware that there was like going to be more, so there was a little bit of a like
Mm,
jolting ending, and I feel like we all were sort of like, "Oh, okay." So I went back and rewatched it with that in mind, that it was gonna be
mhm.
a longer arc. And I remember liking it a lot more that on that second viewing because I was like, "Okay,
Okay.
I feel more appropriately paced now." Um, and for this third viewing, I felt like a lot of it held up, especially, like, strong character performances and, like, a really compelling backstory without being too heavy on exposition. Um, Although I don't know, it felt a little longer this time. It felt a little more dragging out. So,
Yeah,
I
when you
think
know what's coming, it's harder to
it is
yeah,
harder, and I think I was also getting, like, a little bit impatient to watch something new
sure.
for it. You know what I mean? Like, I was sort of impatient, like, I wanna watch this so I remember all the things so I can watch the second part of Dune.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
feel like it actually would have been more satisfying to rewatch this first part after watching Dune, because I would have been like, "Oh, I got new material. I'm so excited. I really love this
Yeah.
world." And I feel like it was actually a mistake to watch the first part because it felt too long.
That's what I was kinda thinking is, like, then I'll see where I missed connections
Mhm,
between the 2 of them. Oh, yeah, okay, go back and, um yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad it's on TV and stuff a lot for people because definitely
mhm.
wanna have seen that one before you see the second one.
Yes,
So,
yes.
uh, that'll be an important push for them if they're gonna wanna do better, obviously, than the first one, and this is not one of those movies where they can just onboard you in right away. So,
Yep.
that's good they're doing that. Um, yeah, I did make it to Dune Part 2, and, I didn't
Very
realize
high
that
level
these
thoughts.
yeah, I wanna give so I definitely want to see it again. I'd like to see it again before, like, final thoughts and, like, really how it stacks up against the first one and all that sort of thing. But, like, initial impression is I liked it a lot. Um, it's most characters are better, even if there's some that I didn't like in the first one as much, they're improved here. One of my only complaints in the first one was, the way the fighting was handled. I think they shot it better. It was much better in this one. Um, it's still cinematic as fuck. It's still like the music hits you. Um, It a lot more happens, a larger
Mhm.
space of time occurs and more things happen. And yeah, because coming from a person that hasn't read the book, I'm only like 70 pages
Yep,
into the first
same.
book. And I've if I know context for the book now, like now I've seen some people talk about it. There's a few concerning changes from the book. Most of the things that have changed doesn't sound like a big deal to me, and I think a lot of people are kind of okay with them. But there's a couple things that is going to be really interesting to see where they go later,
Okay.
and how they develop. So, just for context,
Is
this movie is part two, but they're definitely planning for another one. They're
okay,
definitely planning to cover Dune Messiah. Sounds like it might be a few years, but you know,
sure. Do you feel like, from what you know of these changes, are they changes could feasibly be kind of course corrected? Like, we're just taking a detour, or are they just, like, No, they're the kind of changes that would spawn, do you know what I mean? That they would carry
Yeah.
over and still be different in the next one.
Given so here's the thing, given how so many people, high level people making this movie seem so passionate about Dune, unless
Mm,
it's well done lip service,
mhm,
I am choosing to have faith that they have a plan to kind of make it all fit and make it make
okay.
sense. Because yes, the things that have changed do seem like they're course changing things in the world, like
Mm,
moving it.
okay,
And but if you've kind of plotted out a little bit the general what's happening next, I just have to imagine like, it's like this is what we have to fit this in. This is what we can manage. So this is the route we have to take. I'm
sure.
just at this point I really can't, at this point I can't say. I the movie was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it went quickly. I got everything out of it I wanted from the sequel. I just knowing now a couple of things towards the end that were changed, I just hope that they
Mm,
have a good plan in mind that it kind of makes more sense as we move along. That's all.
okay, okay.
So,
Interesting, interesting.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what you think of it. Hesitant. I don't want to hesitant to say any more. I still, you know, like if I have any complaints about this movie other than the changes I know about now that hopefully will make sense later, um, it would be I don't know about Zendaya. Like the cast is so strong. I just don't know about Zendaya.
Okay.
She's fine, I guess.
Like,
And
character or
she's
performance-wise, or both?
well, she is she doesn't like deliver a line that's like, "Oh, that's silly," or something. So I'm not reading as like her doing a poor job with the performance. I don't think it's that.
Okay.
In fact, she brought more emotional depth for sure than in the first one. So her character is an improvement from the first one. I think it's the way they've written the character. I don't think it's her. I don't know. I haven't seen Zendaya in much other than Spider-Man, so I don't have a lot to go
Sure.
on for, you know. There's people like Javier Bardem is a standout. He's good. He's really good. And you were interested in, I think, Austin Butler.
Yeah, I've
And
heard some really amazing things about his performance, and I thought he did a great job in Elvis, so I think
okay,
he's really growing as an actor.
yeah, yeah. I don't want to say anymore. I'll let you see it. Let you see it. I will wait um, excitedly for your
Yes.
review, and then maybe we can do a show on it or something. So,
Yes, yes, we just have to do our little plotting so we can
yep,
get there.
yep, yep. Okay, so that was the big thing. I did want to talk about one other thing that I read, kind of reread before I get in my short little rant. It'll be short, unless you have a lot to contribute to it. But so I reread this Batman graphic novel.
Okay.
So, Batman 10 Nights of the Beast. So this was done in 1988, and to my recollection, this is the first Batman comic I ever had. So,
Oh, wow,
like,
okay.
the first Batman comic I ever had as well that was like it's interesting is wasn't a single issue, it's a collection of like, 4 issues or whatever it is. So,
Sure.
it's written by Jim Starlin and drawn by Jim Aparo. So they are definitely people of the Batman people of the age. This comic
Mhm.
has seen better days because I read it a lot as a kid, but it's
Sure,
pretty good. It's in better shape than my first ever comic, my X-Men one.
sure.
And I dig the art of this book very much. It works well. The characters are as I would recognize them.
Mhm.
The story is competent and mature. It's kind of this idea that there's this rogue KGB agent that's super trained up by the Russians and stuff like that, and he is going to kill all the people that are associated with the Star Wars program in the 80s.
Mm,
So with Reagan
okay.
and stuff, he's going
Yeah.
to not he doesn't want this to operate, and so he's in Gotham because all these people are here for like meetings and stuff, and he's wiping them out. And so the idea is the program won't be able to go forward and operate without these key people that have been behind it. So it's very like of the time in that case, obviously then. And it's just it's well done, it's well written. You think of like the Beast is sort of like a Bane type character,
Mhm.
you know,
Sure.
but um yeah, I'm not sure what else. Robin's in it plenty as well. But it's nice. Again, some of my complaints with Batman comics that I've been reading and such is reusing the same popular villains over and over through the years because everybody gets their hands on the IP and then they want to tell their story with those
Their
legendary
Joker.
characters. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, well, we want new things, new types of work. So, Bruce does the disguise thing in this, and he does some detective work, so that's all good. Look at this like super like sort of bondage gear on the cover issue
Holy.
that the Beast is like. I don't know if that's
That's
the
different.
best assassin outfit stuff to wear, but
Well,
it
it's
still looks
definitely
cool.
not, like, what if you have to do anything? You have so much exposed skin.
Yeah,
You
I
just,
mean,
like,
he's just that much of a
taking a classic,
professional.
like dude, just even taking, like, a classic dive roll to avoid a bullet or something, you're just gonna get all kinds of scrapes.
Nah,
You
he's
never know what's on the
badass.
floor.
Doesn't even. And I tell you, this comic was too mature for me at the time. So, like, when I read
Okay.
it as a kid, I there were parts that was
Did you
like,
pick up on
I
any of it?
yeah, well, I didn't pick up on like the real world event stuff, like, just the idea of Reagan and Star Wars program and some of that. But the violence, absolutely. And
Ah,
it was a little
sure,
shocking to me as a kid. Um,
sure.
and it's it's fine, but I kind of knew like, oh, I bet my parents don't know this is in here, like that kind of thing. So
Sure.
yeah, but yeah, no, it's so 1988 Batman 10 Nights of the Beast. I never hear it talked about. I never hear
Okay.
this run like mentioned or anything like that in the best of Batman, and it inspires me like there what other Batman things stories are out there that aren't the Killing Joke and A
Mhm.
Death in the Family and just these kind of Frank Miller tentpole things. What else is out there to read and really enjoy? So, high marks to this. So, for a good Batman story. Okay, my little rant is just that I'm so upset in terms of being upset about media things,
Okay.
about that they're going to be having multiple Batmans at once. So sticking in the Batman thing, I just well, you're
We've
like
talked about this for,
I'm
like, a long time.
I know, but it was like boiling over. It's like this is just admit it's like you don't have more than one James Bond at a time. You
Yeah,
don't have more than one Spider-Man at a time. You
yeah.
don't, I mean, I know they did the multiverse thing. I know, and I understand that.
I
I'm
mean,
against that,
that's different.
but
That's like a specific instance. That's not like a
yes,
long running, like,
correct.
forever, like
It's like we will if James Gunn's plans go forward, which they will by all counts, we
yep,
will have a Batman going in that world, and then we will have a Batman going in I
Matt
forget
Reeves.
his faces. Yeah, Matt the Reeves verse, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I don't like it. I really, really, really don't like it. I'm I mean,
Join the
we've
club, man. Like, I've ranted about this before.
Ugh, yeah, and that's why I thought you'd sympathize with me because I know you've said like just
It's dumb.
it cheapens this whole thing. Like let the Batman thing if you're gonna keep the Matt Reeves things going, let that play out.
Yeah.
then add Batman to your world once
Yep.
that's all done. Why is that
Yep.
complicated? Why
Yep.
is that difficult? You have other
Don't
movies.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they certainly have multiple other things. I mean, we talked about they have, I think, what is it? Like 4 different, like, worlds that they're building, like a central DC, they've got, like, Elder Worlds, they've got Outer something, like, there's so many different branches, and there's, like, multiple projects within each one. You don't have to rush right to Batman.
No.
Like, don't have to do it. They've got so many other more interesting, I think, at least, projects because they're untapped potential. We haven't seen a lot of these characters before, or I mean, they are continuations of a couple of characters that we have seen, but like they're totally different directions. Just be different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a
I don't
whole
know.
rundown of like the whole like grand reveal, all the worlds that James Gunn like plotted out and like was making them like fit together and was like, don't worry because this one is this one and this one is like the other worlds and like it's like tangential and then related, but like don't worry too hard about it. Like he had a
Mhm.
whole huge thing that we were just like, why? Why? Like this is
Yeah.
dumb. Like you don't need to think this hard about it.
I would I would be mad, but I would prefer if they're like, "Okay, what's your idea, Matt, for sequel to the Batman?"
Mhm.
Here's my idea, here's my outline. Well, okay, that's nice, but our idea, my idea, James Gunn's idea is better. So that's not happening now, and we're gonna move forward with this. That would make me sad, but it would make more sense than having both at once. So pick.
Ooh.
It's not because they're the
Could you
same
pick?
medium under the same company. Like, don't
Yes.
it's not the same. It's not like having we have the video game version, and then we have the movie version, and then we have what's
Right.
happened in the
Or like
comic.
TV.
Right.
Like even TV can like
Even TV.
it's like a
I
break
still
now,
wouldn't like
right?
that. But yeah.
It's
Mm,
at least like a half removed, you know what I mean? Like you can sort of get
yeah.
away with it because they've done stuff like that before. Like had a TV
Mhm,
show going and like that had a movie. And like nobody is like, "Ooh, like I'm, my vote for number one option, but like it's my, you know, second worst option after having multiple movies with different
mhm.
folks playing the same character, like, ugh.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a big mistake. I don't know what's gonna come of it all. I just, then
What
and,
brought this on? Was it just, like, you reading
um
the comic and you were thinking about Batman and then you got, like, spun up, or was there, like, a
I was
news
in the
announcement that I missed
car.
or anything?
I wasn't reading, I was in the car. I I think I was listening to the Batman Returns soundtrack in the car,
Okay, sure,
and, like, the certain songs just, like, hit emotional moments, beats I remember in the movies and some of that, and,
sure.
yeah, so that had me on thinking Batman and how, just how good, like, the consistency, I sent you and Lance my, like, quick reviews of Bond. I
Mhm,
went through, quickly reviewed the Bond, Mission Impossible, and Batman movies. And, like, the
mhm,
Batman movies are remarkably consistent over the years, really. I mean, there's, like, something to like about them. And, I just think it's, one thing we've always had is there is one Batman at a time.
mhm.
One. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've sort of, like, in the larger franchises, it's, like, a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, we've
When you
always had, like,
switch.
big deal. Yes. And it's kind of fun. It's a way to like draw your PR, like, hey, we're switching, like
Yes.
everybody make your guesses, like get in on it, like this is
Mhm.
fun. Oh, we're talking to this person. Oh, like we're talking to this so
Yeah.
it's a way to just like generate the excitement again and get everybody amped for a refresh. We don't have that here. You just have like this like chaos of like, who do I go with?
Yeah.
Who's mine? And why do we need these competing visions? Why do we
Mhm.
need these competing actors? Why do we need to have fans of the same house divided
Right.
unnecessarily between Gunn and Reeves.
And how do you think audiences are going to react if we come out with casting for Batman and maybe a teaser trailer, and then the Batman 2 comes out?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
are people going to care? Or how much are you going to hurt your box office because now there's a new Batman? Why
Mhm.
am I seeing the old Batman?
Right.
Is it one of those things again, like, does this Batman movie matter at all? Because that
Right.
other one's the one that's gonna matter. That's the one that's gonna connect everything.
Right.
Like, what is that gonna
But
do
then what
to
if
your
it
own
sucks?
profits? Yeah, what if it's yeah, what if it sucks? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like if I was Robert Pattinson, I'd be pissed.
I thought it was that too.
More so than Matt Reeves, because Reeves
Yeah.
still has other stuff going on. He's got a
Yes.
whole universe that he was promised and is seemingly being greenlit, it's coming out. Um, but yeah, if I was Pattinson and I turned in that performance on the Batman and then just kind of got dropped on me that like, "Hey, so yeah, you were really great and everybody loved the movie, but also we're gonna have another Batman, and you're now gonna have to kind of compete within your own role to be
Yeah.
like the defining Batman right now that people
Right.
wanna go see. You have to do even more. You did great, and I was a huge skeptic, we all know it, um, but he did great, and now he's gonna have to be even better, which not that I want him to rest on his laurels and just be like, "Oh, I was really awesome in the first one. I'm gonna like phone in, my next performance." But he shouldn't have that like this type of competing pressure on himself to turn in a
Yeah.
better performance.
Yeah, it's not
Because
like Bond
yeah,
competing with Bourne. Different
right,
companies,
right,
different writers,
right.
different franchises. It's, it and I know why I thought of this actually now, because
Oh,
I've
okay.
been seeing more and more people say that the guy that plays, um, uh, Reacher, Jack Reacher on the Amazon show needs to be Batman.
Oh, why? I mean, not that
I don't
he's
know
not
because
good in that role. I've actually
he's
seen
like
it, but why?
Alan says Alan Richson.
Yeah, yeah.
He well, I guess because he's does well in the role in like
He does.
violence and then he's big and strong and stuff. Yeah, you know.
I mean, all true statements. I just wouldn't have thought like that. I don't know. I wouldn't have said like, oh boy, his next role needs to be Batman.
I I
Not
think
that
you need
not
to
that he'd be particularly bad or anything. I didn't make that
right.
connection. So just curious.
To me, it's like he doesn't need to be Bruce Wayne and Batman because the role's not open. That's why. The role
Mm,
is not available. But he
it
like
is.
yeah, if the role was available, then I would say okay, maybe, but I do think
Sure.
on Batman you need to cast for Bruce Wayne. You don't cast for Batman.
Yes.
As long as your chin can fit okay into the mask, it doesn't look stupid. I don't know, like Bruce or like Clooney, or something like that. Then you're fine. And you can like lower your voice a little bit. You're okay. You cast the Bruce Wayne. That's the part that has to be. And I don't see this guy as Bruce Wayne, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really either. Um, Again, nothing against him as an actor because I like him as Reacher. I like that show. I think it's well done. And he does well. I just again, it's taking me a little bit aback because I didn't go there naturally. That
Yeah.
wasn't the actor I was expecting you to say. So I'm
Mhm.
just sort of trying to
Yeah,
get
I
there.
found it from multiple places, and I'm like, no, this kind of talk needs to just stop. So I'm just tired of it. So that was all that was, and I'm guessing that I saw it from multiple people was someone thought of it, and then the others saw that person's thought, and then
Sure.
shared
And
it.
then
Did
they're all
they
jumping on
also
there.
agreed? Yeah, so that's my
Sure.
guess. But yeah, anyways, that's
Well,
what
that
I.
was a rant I am happy to jump on anytime.
All
You
right.
you know me. I just think this is a mess um of DC's own making, and James Gunn, I really like you, dude. You have made some contributions to cinema, but this isn't it. I'm gonna say it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
upset at the way that this is playing out, and I'm yeah, just overall unhappy, and I don't think that this needed to be this complicated.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Okay. All right. Well, maybe we won't agree over the next movie. We'll see. Maybe we'll be at each
We
other's
will
throats.
see.
Their conclusions and thoughts on Armageddon from 1998. So for those that don't know, we've been doing this daisy chain sort of thing through movies. It started in celebrating Nicolas Cage's birthday,
Mhm,
and we watched two of his films. And then in the second one, we thought we'd take another star that's in that film and watch another one of their movies. And then we'll pick a star in that movie and watch one of their movies. And so there's no real rule to this other than we need to kind of want to watch the movie that we're talking here. And the actor has to be in both that connects them.
mhm,
So it was what? Pig, Face Off, Punisher
mhm.
to Armageddon. So that's
Yes.
Nicolas Cage, uh, John Travolta, John
Mhm,
Travolta to Will Patton in Punisher
mhm.
and Will Patton in Armageddon. So that's our connection here. And we will be discussing Armageddon in spoilerific detail. So, Andre, you never saw
Nope.
Armageddon when it came out, way back
Nope.
when, you know. Um, what did you think of it with your 2024 eyes?
Yeah. Um, I definitely had a hard time with some of it because I think I've been spoiled by other cinema, in
Mm,
certain elements. Not that, like, oh god, the effects were terribly bad. I think I've seen enough action films to sort of, like, place where we are technologically and what's accomplishable. So,
sure.
even if there's, like, a tendency to sort of be like, "Ah, that looks a little silly," it's like, but, if I adjust my expectations for the time, I can still kinda tell, like, is this good or bad? And I thought
Mhm.
actually the effects here for the time were pretty great. I had very, very minimal, I think, comments in that area. Um, but there were definitely some plot points that I was like, that was a little sloppy, or, I put notes that I was like, this feels like it's addressed by other movies in a little bit more realistic of a fashion. And
Mm,
thinking back to the age I would have been at the time if I'd just seen it when it came out, I maybe would have bought into those plot points a little bit more because I haven't seen these other movies. So there
okay.
were there were definitely some elements that I was like, oh, I'm stretching a little bit here. But like the overall premise, it's not complicated. I like that the movie just dives right into like, big problem, got to solve the end of the world. How are we going to do it? Go. Like
Yep.
it really feels like a real-time kind of scramble to solve this issue. And I like that about the movie. I think there are a lot of realistic elements and feelings, and there's a lot of like anxiety and tension that Michael Bay captures very well, and then there are some points where I'm like, "You gotta ease off the throttle, sir," because, I think you're going a little too hard, and you might not be sticking to your own timelines here.
Okay. Okay. So, what were some of the plot issues? What were some of the holes in the storylines that didn't work out for you?
Sure. One big one to me was, uh, the actual timing of everything. I was trying to keep track of, like, we had a running clock on this.
Yeah.
How many days did we have for, going to find our crew, going to round up the rest of the crew, getting trained by NASA, like flying up to the asteroid. Um, and yeah, Michael Bay definitely lost track of a little bit of time there, just sort of like crunched some things like their slingshot around the moon, which was supposed to take 60 hours.
Mm.
And that definitely wasn't.
Well, isn't it 60 hours to the moon? Wasn't that the
Yeah.
deal? The around the moon could take up to 11 minutes.
Yes, but, like, that's what I'm saying, like, their whole slingshot trip was supposed to be
Oh,
60
oh, okay.
hours,
Okay.
and there's definitely if I was, like, counting out, there definitely wasn't enough time left in, like, their countdown, so I was like, okay." Um, but, I mean,
Yeah.
a little forgivable, but if you mention, like, 60 hours, maybe you should be keeping track of your timeline there.
Mhm.
Uh, Another one I thought of was, just kind of the initial premise, that, we need a team to drill into this asteroid to drop a bomb inside. And I get that that's not like a thing that, every average, I'm gonna say Carl and Dottie because they were my favorite like random side parts of the show.
Okay.
Every random Carl and Dottie could just go out and do. But also, they definitely made it seem like it's easier to train people who know how to drill to be an astronaut than it would be to train an astronaut to know how to drill. And I was like, a little dismissive of, I think, everything that goes into freaking being an astronaut. Like, it's no
Well,
cakewalk either.
yeah, right. But I think that I mean, what they had to be, their astronaut training had to be just like, can you withstand the force? That's like the one guy I was asking, like, can they physically do it? Because
Well,
all the
and
other
honestly,
astronaut stuff,
since Rockhound lost his shit up there.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying,
because
like, it just was a little, like I mean, this is, like, some serious stuff that you have to put your body through, like, really tough extremes, um, and why couldn't we sort of, maybe figure out a way that we could send, like, 1 guy, the rest of them are astronaut, or, like, 2 guys or something, and then, like, we talk through it on, like, the radio comm. I don't know.
sure,
I
sure,
mean, I get it,
yeah.
it's, like, dramatic effect, but they were a little, like in my mind, I was like, "Is this really the most logical solution?"
Yeah, I mean, I think in real life, maybe it'd be more of a they get a combination of, or
A little more
I
50-50
don't know,
split.
yeah, or would they be like, I don't know, would they be looking for someone that knows how to drill and has flight experience,
Well,
or I don't know.
our guy does, Will Patton.
Yeah,
And he
okay,
didn't they say he was, like, Air Force, like, 6 years service or
yeah, one
something?
of them was. I
Very
don't remember which one it was,
I
but
think I think it was Will Patton.
okay, okay. Yeah, I think the only things I really had issue with, the clock is interesting. I guess I was, sucked into enough of it that I just like, we have this many days, the time works out, whatever they have. Um, but maybe they should have done a clock on the bottom, like on 24 or something. It's like
Maybe, and that's what I
keep
needed
running.
to, like yeah,
Remind the audience and the film
and
editor.
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Otherwise
Yeah,
it
I really
was
sorry, I'm gonna interject one more time. I really felt like there was a lot of wasted time in the movie,
mm,
like going to get Harry and then going to get his crew definitely, like, chewed up some days.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like, the whole, like, roundup
sure.
scene where he was like, "My crew is scattered, you gotta go to, like, this place to find him and this place to find him." Like, "You have that kinda time to go get these people?" Or, kind of at towards the end again where they're on the asteroid and they're arguing about, like, bomb detonation, and it's taking a really long time to,
Mhm.
like, figure out, and I'm like, "You people need to be drilling, like, what are you doing? Can you argue while you drill, please? Like, get it going."
Yeah.
Like, there was just some, like, time management
I
things that I felt really, really tough for me
But they
to
couldn't keep drilling because the bomb was going to explode if they kept drilling, if they didn't stop the guy, having him
but
turn
the
it
guys
off.
but, wasn't it, like, right after he stopped it, though? And then they started
What?
arguing again. They started yeah, he stopped it, and then they started arguing again about it, and I was like, "Stop wasting time! Like, go drill."
No, because so they stopped the timer at NASA, and then it's like, "Oh, okay, it's done," they turned it off or whatever, but then it
Yes,
started back up again, and
Right,
they
but there
had
was,
to
like,
con
a bunch of time in there when they, like, had it stopped, and then they were, like, arguing about, like, "Oh, like, my job is this, and my job is this," and I was like, "How about everybody's job is to drill again?"
huh.
And because
I'd have to
yeah,
go back and watch the
It was
scene.
Harry who was like, "I wanna know, like, about your, like, motivations, and I wanna know about X thing," and I was like, "You know you don't, Harry, you need to drill."
No,
It was
that's when he was trying to convince him to turn it off. That's when it was counting down and he had, like then he'd, like, grabbed him by the neck with the thing, like, got him on the ground, they got his gun, and he's, like, talking to him, like, You know what's
that
right
was
here, like, "Why did you come up here?" To begin with.
oh, man. I have, like, a note about it.
I'm like, shouting too loud, waking up my kids or something. Um,
Yeah, sorry, I can't remember where it is now. I'm looking for it, but yeah, I felt
they were definitely were on the clock, and there definitely was
right.
moments that could be pressured to but it's supposed to make you feel like you're supposed to feel that, "Hurry up, oh my god, hurry
Yeah.
up, we don't have time for
Like,
this."
maybe it's like that's actually a really excellent job of filmmaking by Michael Bay, but yeah. There was just I had a lot of problems with time in this film.
Oh, yeah, see you say here, gotta say I agree with Harry, please everyone stop talking to him about how hot his daughter is, it's weird. Yeah, that's
Yes! This film is, like, rife with just, like, inappropriate, like, father-daughter, like, poor Liv Tyler, she gets it from her real dad and her movie dad, like, everybody's
I
telling Harry,
mean
"Hey, your daughter's super hot, like, she's a woman now," and, like, she's exploring her sexuality and, like, whatever, dude. That's whatever. That's fine, but maybe just, like, don't. Just there are other ways to say that she's grown up than, like,
Mhm.
is super hot and, like, of course, like, sex is on the table. Like,
Y
don't.
I find it, like people grow up in all kinds of weird, different situations and whatever, and she definitely grew up in a strange one, and that
Did.
was a matter, like, a thing of contention there that they, like, made peace about later was that, he's like, "I'm sorry I had you raise you around all these ruffians and doing all this and stuff," and she says, "No, like, it's it's what I know, and it's made me who I am and all this sort of thing." So, I think
Yeah.
she's around a rough kind of, other sort of weird characters and some ex-cons and you name it, and so, yeah, if for in part comic relief and then in part for, some level of realism there'd be some in, what's like, unorthodox, parenting and situations that would come up, I think.
Right,
Um,
which, like, was funny when Rockhound was saying, like, "Oh boy, like, I had to go help her during her first period." Like,
yes.
that's something that's,
That
like,
was
off the wall and a little, like, "Oh, man, I didn't ever really wanna, like, think about that," but it's not, like, as weird as, like, a bunch of guys just being like, "Please be okay with your daughter being super hot." Like, "Oh, no, no, like, you didn't hear us the first time? She's super hot."
at
Like,
the same time, they were like, "We also kind of understand because we helped raise her too." Like, even though a lot of them are closer in age, it's like, I'm sure they watched over her and stuff as well, so,
which is
yeah.
another weird element, like, I don't know, like, if someone I watched over tangentially, because 'cause I'm not even gonna think about my own kids, but, like, tangentially, someone who wasn't related to me that I would still be like, to their parent, "You have to
Right.
accept that they're, like, super sexy now." Like, no, that's not again, that's not, like, the way I would convey that they're an adult, and that's the crux of the issue, like, she is an adult making her own choices, it's not about, like it really or it shouldn't be about, like, who she's sleeping with. It's that
Mhm.
he needs to let go and let her make her own choices because she can make smart ones, even if it
I
doesn't
can totally s
to him.
I can totally see, you know, like, Kyle Richards telling Lisa Rinna, "Come on, your daughters, they're old
Mm,
enough now, whatever. They're super babes. You gotta, like, admit that." And she wouldn't have to tell Rena that because she does all kinds of inappropriate things already with their daughters. So,
True. That's true. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not, like, the most implausible that it wouldn't happen. Because yes, actually, that's a really great example that makes me understand, but at the same time, it was a lot, and Harry was
mhm,
like, "Please stop it," and I get it.
yeah.
Please stop
I
it.
I would be in his position, yes. I'd be like, "Okay, that's enough of that." Um, and then okay, so issues I had was, I thought the maneuvering of the second armadillo on the asteroid was too much. Like, we didn't need to, like, have it be that crazy.
I said it was speed level insanity, like the bus jump. That to me was
Yes.
like this implausible. Like, no way. No way is this panning out like this. Also, Lev would be dead. He's like outside the armadillo holding onto a
Yeah,
strap and they like plow through some rocks and do
yeah,
a tumble. He's gone.
yeah. Mhm. So that was to me the moment in the movie that was a bridge too far. That was,
Yep.
a bit much.
Little shark
And
jump for you.
then yeah. And then, there was one other thing. Maybe I'll think of it later. Yeah, I'll have to come back
This
to that
isn't
if I
this isn't
so,
something
but
that the movie did terribly, but also I laughed at the time. So when they're on the asteroid and everybody's, like it's like the last, failure, the last obstacle that they have to overcome. The remote detonator's not working because of course I called it like an hour before in the movie. I was like, somebody's gonna have to stay behind. So
mhm.
somebody has to stay behind. And Harry immediately is like, "It's gonna be me," and everybody's like, "No, I can't let you do that. Like, you're not doing it. You're not doing it." And then AJ draws the short straw, and they're like, "Yeah, cool, cool." Like nobody volunteers. Like
I
AJ's
okay.
gotta go home to his girl. Everybody else is like, "Yeah, seems right."
I read your comment and I disagree because Harry was saying, "I'm gonna do it," and then they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. I can't live with myself if I were to just let you do that." So that's why the drawing the straws is the fair
I
thing. So when AJ draws the short straw, it's not like,
fair.
"Well, what a positive." It's like,
I know.
that's the result of the game, like,
I know.
you gotta
I thought
honor
it
the
was
game.
really funny that like nobody was like, "No, you have like stuff to live for." Like, I don't have
Yeah,
anything. Like, I'm gonna, I can't let you do that, man.
yeah.
Uh,
It would have been
I don't know. It was a little funny.
I honestly would have been like, maybe if those other guys like, "Hey, AJ, you shouldn't draw. You're engaged now. Like, you have more
Right.
than whatever, So,
Right.
yeah.
Grace is waiting for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, in that moment, I definitely was like I was chuckling a little bit because I was like, "Oh, poor AJ, nobody wants to save you, I guess."
Mhm.
Which I don't think is true, but it just
Yeah.
struck me as funny in the moment. And also, I really oh god, I really wish it could be Rockhound if he wasn't so unreliable because he lost his mind. But because
Yeah.
he lost his mind, I was definitely like, "Peace, bro, like, you can stay here. You want a front row seat? Great."
Yes. Yes. It's funny watching this again. There's so many moments and lines and just little things that I completely forgot about. But then
Mhm.
I remembered vividly, it's like right at the beginning, Reggie. I remembered that guy and the dog Reggie right away. I was like, "Oh yeah, Reggie.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
awesome." And yeah, I just there's a lot of moments that came back to me that I had forgotten about, that's for sure. Um
Yeah. Chris was
like the
saying
buy yourself
there
a
were a lot
neck.
of lines. Yeah.
Why don't you take this and buy yourself a neck? I like that. That was good.
Chris was saying there were a lot of lines. He was like, "Oh god, we used to say this all the time," or like, shout this at
Yeah.
each other, like, "Get the book, get the book." Like, he was just like, "There's so much that's coming back to me right now." So, it
Yeah.
was fun for me to be like, "Oh, that's where some of that comes from." Because Chris is a definite movie line quoter.
Mhm.
It's fantastic for our relationship because I do the same thing.
God, see, that's what I'm sad about. I used to be that. person.
Mhm.
I just am not now. I just don't know any lines anymore. So yeah, I thought I wrote down like
Used a
one other
lot.
line. Um,
My favorite line was definitely, early on when Harry finds out about Grace and AJ, and it was, "I'm temporarily insane, it's okay." When everybody's,
yeah,
like, shouting at him to, like, stop
hmm
shooting, put down the gun, he's
yeah,
like, "No, no, I'm temporarily insane, it's okay." That was my
yep.
favorite.
Yep. A lot of good stuff. Oh, I remember the other thing that I didn't like. It's the they didn't do a good job of simulating the G forces that they were under. I
Oh,
had just literally watched someone like a camera on someone going through it was like 5 Gs, 5 plus Gs or something.
mhm.
And you just you're not talking your skin, is literally pushed back and everything a little more labored breathing, and they're all just there like, "Ah, ah." It's no
Yeah,
physical effects.
that was a moment for me that was definitely spoiled by watching this later because, I had just watched Top Gun: Maverick, and
Mm,
basically, like, you know, they spend the whole movie trying to prove that, a pilot can survive at 10 Gs, and it's, like,
sure.
nigh impossible, and, he's been doing this, like, over and over and over and failing all the time, and you see that, like, physical effect, and you see what it does to the body and, like, how much he, like, blacks out, and so watching them get to, like, 11 Gs, and they're just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, no."
Yeah. Yeah.
Awful. So awful. Uh,
Um,
also, while we're on, like, the actual flights, two of my, like, big, like, moments in the flight beyond the, 10 Gs or 11 Gs, was 1, the windshields were tiny. They were, like, barely the size of a person's head. I don't know who can see out of that crap. But, like, every time they did, like, an interior to exterior
yeah,
shot out of the shuttle, I was like, "My god, that is so small."
but that's
Like,
how
what
spaceships are,
I
like
mean, it felt so cramped, like, everything
yeah.
just felt like, "Can you even see space?" Like, I can't see space.
See,
So
I thought it was like this is futuristic because of all the space they had. It's like, oh, they can all just walk around in here and all these chairs, there's a room between them and all this
well,
stuff and
yeah, that was fine for me, like, I'm literally just saying when they were interior and they were trying to be like, "Oh, no, like an asteroid storm," like, when the asteroid
mhm,
or the storm hit, and it was like, "Oh, it's
mhm,
coming." I was like, "Is it? Because I can't see anything, like, y'all are
mhm,
being alarmed and I can't see crap." And we're supposed to be seeing it, like, from the inside, so
mhm.
that was my, like, "Okay." Um and then the other one was that they just, like, launched, like, side by side. I was a little like, "I'm pretty sure, like, if launch didn't go exactly perfectly, this is a disaster. Like, why are they so close together?"
Yeah, the following each other and stuff, that they need to be separated a bit more there. That's like
Yeah.
you'd be a thing where you release fuel tanks and, "Oh, shit,
Right.
that one hit the other one," like, how easy just to trust that they are know what they're doing, but just, yeah, I would think that'd be a
Yeah.
little more,
Yeah. It
so
was just a little bit much to have them so close and then, like, launch so soon right after one another. I was like,
mhm,
You really could have spaced this out and then just, like, brought them together in space."
yeah, yep.
So
Um Other than that, like, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it has, I mean,
Mhm.
I liked it back then. I had to say I didn't think I ever planned to watch this movie again. I wouldn't have watched it if we hadn't been doing this. So, but it's got action, romance, whatever. It's a breakneck pace.
Mhm.
The cast is a ginormous cast. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, there were definitely
there's
people that, Chris was like, "Oh, here comes, like, another star," and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
mhm.
I had no idea Owen Wilson was in this movie. 0.
I forgot. Yeah, I totally forgot. Totally forgot. Jason Isaacs, he's in
Yep.
there.
I was like, "Oh,
Um,
hey, dude. You're a good guy?
yeah.
Oh, no, wait, you're a jerk. So you're like a semi-asshole, so it's okay, it fits."
Yeah. But yeah, the comedy in a lot of places landed, the guy wants to bring back 8-track. They did a really good, like, combination of
Demand.
people, They had good characters that, to round out this kind of zany crew. And then the emotion hits when it's supposed to, like, it's a sad
Mhm.
freaking movie, and, it's just I've totally forgot Michael Bay did this movie. I didn't realize it was his
Me.
movie, and, I don't know. It hits all the notes. Like, the effects in a lot of ways hold up because I think a lot of them were practical. Like cars flipping and blowing up and stuff. They didn't just CG them in there. They did it. And then like the asteroid stuff. Now that would just be an empty screen and a big blue screen, or they'd fill it in with a visual, like, and they like built these asteroid sets that, like,
Yeah, which were creepy.
yeah. So I think a lot of that stuff kind of holds up a little better because they did some things practical when they could.
Yeah,
Um,
I liked it. The asteroid was, like, very eerie. I don't know, like, what I would think an asteroid would look like, but whoever dreamed that kind of set up, I felt like did a good job of I think the basic elements of that. Like, it was creepy, like, there was imposing rough terrain, but it wasn't like moon terrain, so it wasn't like super familiar. It was foreign.
yeah,
They were describing like the different parts of the asteroid and everything felt like that science at least kind of lined up. So I don't know. I liked it.
C Stewart in the chat is says insides would have been liquefied at 12 Gs. It sounds good. And I mean, like you said, they got to 11, so their insides are safe. And then
Barely.
yeah, and then the NASA guy interceded and made the clock stop temporarily, and then it restarted again, and then they cut the wire. Yeah, so like I liked all that drama too, It's Billy Bob Thornton's like, you cannot do that. Like, this is a time to ignore this order and some of that. Like, you've been here, you've seen this stuff, how it's going, and you're just wasting everything this way. And so I liked that little like mutiny there and competing factions and buying a little more time and all that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, I never really thought that I would enjoy Billy Bob Thornton as like the bastion of order. Um
yeah.
Right at the beginning, I really felt like the way that he kind of infused his character, he was just like, "Yeah, I should be in charge." Like, I am
Mm,
methodical, I am logical, I have, like, appropriate response to, like, shit going sideways. I am organized, like, let's get this done. And he was kind of just toe the line with NASA, but then also go a little bit rogue enough that I was like, "I believe you.
yeah.
I really like you as kind of like the straight and narrow with a little bit of heart because now you're gonna, like, pull for this team."
Yeah. Yep. What'd you think of so we watched this movie because of Will Patton. So what'd you think of his,
Yeah.
character and performance?
I thought he turned in another solid, like, I am your right-hand man performance, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, he definitely got more screen time in The Punisher, and he was a little bit more fleshed out, I think, over the length of the movie.
Yeah,
The Punisher. I think he was like a fully 3D character here, but we just got it in like more bits and pieces because we were focused on like other side characters.
yeah.
Um, so I really liked his backstory and I liked his character. I liked his performance. It was clear like he's, like, kind of 3rd billing tier along with, like, Billy Bob Thornton, but he was Harry like I said, he was Harry's, like, right-hand man for a long time, like, AJ's coming into that now
Yeah.
and gonna be, taking over, so he's, like, I don't know, the heir apparent, but he's not, like, the guy you go to. He's not, like, the guy you want for, like, "I've known you for 30 years, give me your advice on this situation," and that's Will Pat,
Mhm.
and I think he does a really great job at that.
Yeah. No, I didn't again, some of these things I didn't remember till they literally were happening in there again, but,
Mhm.
I love the whole going back, like, what's everybody gonna do when they have their free day here, their free night or whatever, and, his is the best, his is the best,
Yeah.
like, he's not supposed to be around his kid that doesn't know he's his dad, but kind of a little heads up, and that's a I mean, I think that whole thing is very emotional and well done. Like
Oh,
it's
the gut punch. Oof.
mhm, you know, it
Yeah.
just and the way he again, it is the way he plays it. Like he just has like a humble thing about him or something, a vulnerability is like, you don't have to tell
Yeah.
him this is from me or whoever, just if you can, just give him this ship, and then when it comes at the end, like the moment there, I have chills now just talking about it. It's silly, but it's just like the mom on TV. Then that's not the salesman. That's your dad. That's great.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I
yeah,
agree. I think that was a huge emotional pull for this movie. And I think that scene also that both of those scenes also really stood out to me. I think one, the vulnerability that Patton expresses is somehow like really wonderfully done through his eyes. Like you could almost see him in that moment kind of tearing up a little bit and just pleading like, you don't have to tell him it's from me. It's such a hard thing to walk that line of conveying that sort of desperation for connection without overplaying it, and he does it well. And then, yeah, that moment where she's like, "That's not the salesman, that's your daddy." Woo! Like, oh, he made him proud finally, like,
yeah,
dang it.
yeah,
It's such like a win. It's a small but big win because, I
yeah,
mean, obviously, that's what these people are fighting for is their connection,
yeah,
their family, their value to the people around them, and
yep,
for people to keep having that another day. So, yeah.
yep. Um, I forgot about Peter Stormare's character, the Russian astronaut.
He is my
Um,
favorite wacky sidekick.
okay,
Out of the
yeah,
out of
he
the
is good.
wacky ones, not the, like,
Yeah,
steady, dependable, reliable ones. Out of the wacky
sure.
ones, he's my
Okay.
favorite.
I think I'd agree. Yeah, because Buscemi gets to be a little much. Yeah, he goes
Mhm.
crazy, and,
Yep.
yeah. And
I feel like
and
some of the others we don't get to actually to spend that much time with, so they're, like,
yeah,
important, and the ones that die, it's, like, impactful because we're, both because we're depending on them to complete this mission and because they're, like, just part of the team, so naturally we care, but we
mhm,
don't spend that much time with them.
yep. I, uh, um, I was just reminded of how much I used to like watching, um, what's his name? In Zoolander, he just said he forgot he was in the movie or didn't know he was in the
Oh,
movie.
Owen Wilson?
Yeah, Owen Wilson. It's just like there was a slew of good movies and stuff, and this is just another one that he's just in. Not like you say, not as much. We don't get to know him as much, but he's just a kind of fun comedic character. So,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
he comes up with the Roadrunner thrust move. That's the other thing.
I know.
So yeah,
Oh, that was great.
we have
Yeah,
better
yeah.
rockets than the Roadrunner. Yeah.
He, yeah, his character isn't with us long, but he's definitely impactful because he's the first person we see that we lose.
Right.
Uh, so, and obviously he kind of brings home the stakes, especially for people like AJ who are like, you know, life is just like a cowboy ride. Like I just get to do what I want and have fun. And,
Yep.
there's a line of danger, but I'm always on, the side that I come out of it. And this is kind of like the lesson that you don't always come out. So
Yep.
yeah, minor character, but important
Um.
for sure.
Right. Um. I don't know what else I have to say. I wrote in my comments like they really don't make them like this anymore. I don't think I'm just the the fun summer blockbuster that has all the things, hits all the beats, is a fun thing. This was like had a lot of like, you know, national pride in it, a lot of sort of, here's our clear mission statement. It's a very hopeful, like humanity working together sort of thing. Just feel good, pull at the heartstrings, all the stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know when we've last had I think that's why, and I haven't seen it yet myself, but if I had to guess, I feel like that's why Top Gun resonated a lot. Feel if it
Yeah.
The way it's described to me is a sort of a feels like that kind of thing. Like it's just
Mhm.
impressive stunts and like it's exciting and has heart and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. I would agree with all of that. It's also, I mean, a little bit of nostalgia, but it tells
Right.
its own story enough that, like, the nostalgia is light. It's not relying too heavily, or it's not like a remake.
Right.
Because I think that's important too, because I think you can be wistful for, or yearn for, like, movies like these, like the big blockbuster popcorn movies, and then sort of rely too heavily on what's been done before. So
Yeah.
not to sidetrack us into Top Gun, but I think it told enough of its own story that it was good by itself while sort of giving the feeling. Um,
Yeah. There
oh,
was there was a what's that?
I just said, which is tough. It's tough to not,
Oh,
think like, oh, I want to harken back to this type of movie and then like get too deep. Where
yeah.
um, that I think is a little bit of oh god, what am I thinking of?
Well, I mean,
Star-Lord
it's
movie.
things well, it's stuff that Star Wars gets into. Like,
I know, but like the first one that came out with Daisy Ridley. What's the title of the first one? I cannot
for
get
Star Wars, The Force Awakens?
Force Awakens. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so much of a new hope that it was just like, whoa, like
Yeah.
easy on this plot remake here. Like it's good, but that's because A New Hope was good. And you're just sort
Yeah.
of like remaking it with a twist. So
No,
anyway,
absolutely. I There was a comic book artist recently doing a show about like, is nostalgia bad? Is it messing up like our pop culture and some of that? And to me, it's just like, no, nostalgia isn't bad. Like tapping into people's nostalgia is good, but you can't rely on it. If
right,
all you have is nostalgia, then, to me, it's like with
right.
Star Wars, you have people that making it that clearly don't understand what Star Wars is, because to you, all Star Wars is like saying, I have a bad feeling about this. Like,
Mhm.
oh, that line was said a lot in the old Star Wars movies. Let's make sure we say, I have a bad feeling about this. It, it just gets to be ridiculous, like,
Right.
at a point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like,
Yeah.
tap into that nostalgia, but it has to be able to stand on its own regardless,
Right.
because you're gonna have audiences that there's no nostalgia involved at all for it.
Right.
So,
No, I completely agree. You have to stand alone. You can't use nostalgia as your crutch.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
nostalgia can be there and you can absolutely like reference,
The
harken
bonus.
back, evoke some
Mhm.
feelings. Like for sure, everybody gets a kick out of that, you know, who's seen your original thing. That's like a fun, like, I love that they did that, but you can't do it so many times that you're like, wow, okay. So we
Yep.
didn't have any new ideas then.
Yep. Okay. Armageddon, 1998. Do you have any closing thoughts or, thumbs up, thumbs down, that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was a definite thumbs up. Um, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the thrill of it. I definitely got to the end and was like, man, just it was intense all the time. There was not a lot of like downbeats, but it definitely would evoke a feeling of the way you would if you had a clock on the world ending and we got to do something here. Um, so I thought it did a nice job of like the intensity, the action, most of the time the pacing. Um, few plot holes on the storyline, but they were things I could move past enough to get to where the movie was going. So,
Mhm.
yeah, overall well done. I liked the visuals on the whole. I loved um seeing like the asteroid explode in the sky. I thought that was a really
Mm,
cool visual. If they saved a lot of like visual production budget for that, that was really great.
nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's a blast. Like it a lot. Um, Probably I won't see it for another 20 years or whatever it's been, I don't know. So or maybe when the kids are older, I guess. So, and I
Yeah,
want to make them
not
cry.
something it's not something I would like go rewatch, voluntarily right away, maybe in a while. But Chris was saying that there was another movie that came out around the same time with a similar premise, Deep Impact, which
Yes.
again was one of those like I know I heard of, maybe have seen a couple of clips from, but I haven't seen. So I was like, "Oh, I'll go watch that." Like he
Okay.
was saying there were a couple moments he thought in this film that were like maybe taking little jabs at Deep Impact and some of the science that was happening there.
Okay. Yeah. I see. I feel like
Oh,
there
that's
was,
interesting.
I do feel like there was competition. We had Volcano and Dante's Peak, and we
Yep.
had Deep Impact and Armageddon. So we
Yep.
had 2 sharing disasters, different things or whatever that, yeah, felt like they were competing against one another, you know?
Right.
For me, I always liked Volcano better than Dante's
Okay.
Peak, which I
Okay.
think is maybe on the outside opinion on that one, and then, like,
Okay.
Armageddon more than Deep Impact.
Okay.
So,
Interesting. I will,
yeah.
yeah, I will definitely be watching Deep Impact at some point because now I'm curious
Okay.
to
Okay.
see if
Well, we'll
those
have
like
to
if those like little shade moments are actually there from Armageddon.
yeah.
So
Did Chris, really enjoy watching this again then, or
he did. He did. I think there was a lot for him about like the nostalgia of like, oh, those were the lines we used to say, and like, oh,
yeah.
those were those like character things that happened. And I know he thought there were like some underrated performances. He also really enjoyed like Billy Bob Thornton's character, Michael Clark Duncan. Like that was a double emotional,
Yeah.
feels because of course he's no
See
longer
him
with
again.
us. Yep.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think
Yep.
I think he had a lot of fun. I think this daisy chain process has been fun for him too because it's a lot of
Yeah.
his childhood movies as well,
Yeah.
that I'm now, watching.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's too bad you couldn't, make it on tonight. Let's see. Hey, Chris says, "John, not Volcano?"
He says, "No,
Oh.
volcano."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Volcano has, Tommy Lee Jones, the boss. He's in Volcano. And Dante's Peak has James Bond. I would need to see Dante's Peak again. I really don't remember that well. I remember being
Sure.
mortified by the guy melting in Volcano. I remember that.
Okay.
Like, literally the floor is lava, and what are you gonna do? So yeah, it was scarring to me as a child. So,
Sure.
mhm. Okay, so we gotta obviously think about where to go next from here.
Mhm. We have
Do
a
you have
lot of options.
so many options? I have 3
Okay.
that have like I'm gonna put out there.
Okay.
So Bruce Willis is the most obvious pick because he's like the star of
Sure.
this movie here to do another Bruce Willis movie. And my film I would put up for him would be The Fifth Element. Been wanting to watch that again.
Ooh.
And there's at least one other star I'm thinking in there that would be a great also continuing on for Fifth
Okay.
Element.
Would this tie into Dune or would it tie into something else?
Um, I haven't drawn anything else to tie into Dune yet.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
can probably make it happen, but yeah.
Okay. No
And
worries.
then
Curious.
second would be Peter Stormare in Constantine.
Mhm.
So it's
Mm.
not that big
Mhm.
of a role, but
Yep.
it's a
But I
great
can
role.
visualize it. Yep.
Hmm. And that to me So I know I'm like, I don't want to plan out the daisy chain, like, but I can't help but be like, oh, but then I can watch this. So that to me would lead to Keanu and The Matrix because I wanted to watch The Matrix again for years. It's been years since I've seen The Matrix.
That's been a
So
while.
yeah, I mean, that was a cultural moment. All of a sudden, everybody's wearing trench coats,
Mhm.
but so that's that. And then Steve Buscemi or Duncan, either of them, they're both in another Michael Bay film, The Island, that I think is incredibly underrated.
Oh, Chris would agree with you there.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know if we saw it
That
in theater together or anything like that, or like talked about it for sure. Because
yeah.
I think that movie is, at least from memory, is fantastic. And it didn't
Yes.
do that well in the theaters, and they stole footage from that was so good. They took footage from it and repurposed it later in a different Transformers movie.
Yeah. I remember
So,
that now. Yeah,
because
Chris,
they're
like, talked
yeah.
he, like, talked me into that movie. He was, like, really pushing for it for years. Um, I remember this because I hadn't even heard of it. It wasn't like he pushed me into it because I didn't wanna see it or was like, "Oh, that sounds terrible." It was just like,
Yeah.
I never remembered it.
Michael Bay gets, I mean, look, he's made millions of dollars, so he's fine. But
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of public opinion, he gets the raw end of the deal here because honestly, before Transformers, he made this movie here, Armageddon, The Rock, and The Island. And The Rock and The Island, for sure, in my mind, are amazing, amazing movies.
Mhm.
And so he'll always have those three movies to me. Um, yeah. Oh, and he did
Yeah.
another one too. I forgot. It was Zero Dark 30, or I don't know. Some more movie I think he did too that was really good.
No, I don't think he did Zero Dark
Yeah,
30.
I'm probably thinking of something else. Um, let's see. Oh, Bay. Pearl Harbor.
Pearl
Did he do
Harbor.
Pearl Harbor? That's not the one I'm thinking of. I never saw that one, but
You haven't seen Pearl Harbor?
I don't
Oh,
think so.
we could jump right, with Affleck.
Yeah, right. Um.
Shut your face. Michael Bay did Bad Boys?
Oh yeah, Bad Boys 1 and 2.
I
Yeah,
love that movie. I did
that's
not
right.
know Michael Bay did that.
Mhm, mhm.
That's nuts.
Let's see, it's producer roles. Ambulance. So yeah, I kinda wanted to see that. That's a newer one you did. Um, oh, 13 Hours. That's the one I watched.
Oh, The
It's
Secrets
got
of
John
yeah,
Krasinski.
sure.
That was great. So, I watched that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Their Pain and Gain, you watch that one? That's,
Oh my
Rock.
goodness. I have not seen that actually.
Oh, man, we got Rock and
Yeah,
Marky Mark.
I know, I've seen so much of his work. Anthony Mackie's in that. I did not know that.
Hmm. So, The Island on
Miracle on the
IMDb gets a little bit better score than Armageddon.
Interesting,
Huh.
interesting. That's so funny.
Anyways,
I've heard so many more mixed things about Pain and Gain than I have Armageddon, so it seems a little
okay.
backwards in my mind, but
Yeah.
no, I mean,
Pain
I love The Rock, but that doesn't mean he can't make um,
right.
a middling movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, food for thought, audience, out there. Chris, for those another nostalgia thing you're looking for, or whatever. Let us know. Those are
Good
my
options.
initial thoughts here. Bruce
Oh,
Willis, Fifth Element,
he
Peter
has a
Stormare,
vote.
Constantine, Buscemi, and the Island. Oh, he does. This is a
It
text not in
says
chat. Looks like.
yes. He texted me. I nominate Michael Clark Duncan and Green Mile. Then you can read the book. And has such a It is so cool and has such a cool character that they cut out of the movie. Interesting.
Hmm.
I feel like
I
I've watched that one really recently. I love that movie. I really do. It took me a long time also to watch that movie. Um, because I felt like it was so popular and there was so much about it that it took me like a hot minute to get over my like rejection of like what's popular and just watch it.
mhm.
I've seen that one recently and I kind of like digging this, I either haven't seen it or I haven't seen it in a really long time vibe.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
I
I love that movie. I really do. And I love Michael Clark Duncan.
well, then we can watch them in the island.
Yes.
Um, you d
Or
so
in Daredevil with Ben Affleck. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Ah,
that movie. That movie. Yeah.
that I have not seen since the theater. So,
But you have seen it, right?
I have seen it. Yep.
Okay.
Right when it
Okay.
came out. Mhm. I did
Ah,
not see
God.
Elektra.
Oh. No, I haven't either. I haven't either.
Mhm.
Daredevil, I feel like is so bad that it's fun. It's like one of those so bad. I'm not gonna say it's so bad
Yeah.
it's good, but it's so bad it's fun for
Right.
me.
Yeah. I don't I can only imagine that's the case because it's been so long. I mean, I remember as a kid thinking it was cool enough, I didn't
Yeah,
know anything about Daredevil at the time. It's like, "Oh, this is
sure,
cool," but it didn't stick with me, you know? Um, so, yeah, I'd have to definitely rejudge it.
sure.
Um, he says Alan says Joe Pantoliano was in Daredevil,
Yeah,
so The
that's true.
Matrix after that.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Is that, who I don't know who that
He's
is.
the reporter in Daredevil who's, like, covering the story, about, like there's, like, a vigilante out there, and they say he
But
can
who's
make
he in The
you decide and
Matrix?
he's the villain. He's the dude who wants to turn them all in.
Okay,
Oh my
he's the
gosh, I can't think
traitor.
of his name. He's the bald guy. Yeah, the
He's
traitor.
a traitor. Okay, okay. That's
The
what I was
bald guy with,
guessing,
like, the soul
but
patch. Yeah.
Cypher.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Alright.
Cypher. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Mhm.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. If we do you have any initial, like, were you thinking like, "Oh, what would be the next thing that's fun to watch at all?" Do you have a no? Okay.
No, no, nothing offhand. I mean, I'd love to I'd love to see some Bruce Willis that I haven't seen, so, like, Fifth Element for me would be fun. Um,
Mm. Wait, you
that would
haven't
be
seen
cool.
Fifth Element?
No.
Oh. Oh, okay. It's so weird.
Um,
It's so
I
weird,
haven't
and Gary Oldman is so fun. It's crazy.
I love Gary Oldman. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Um, and he has a collection of works that we could go anywhere with, obviously.
That's my plan. That was my thought going there. Be like, then Gary Oldman for The Professional. Le
Okay, yeah.
Professional. Mhm.
Yeah. That's been a while.
And then it could be Jean Reno and The Da Vinci Code. I
Oh, The Da Vinci Code. That was a movie for me that was like, I don't know. That's one of those ones I
no?
can't make up my mind about. I I liked elements and there were elements that were really hard for me, like Tom Hanks was too old, man.
Okay.
He just was. I love him so much, but he was too old for that role.
This right here, this is Chris. This is Chris. I can tell
Oh,
that this is recommendation. He says Gary Oldman in Gangs of New York. He was obsessed with that movie.
oh yeah.
He's obsessed with that movie.
I
Um,
mean, it was a solid movie. Like I really loved a lot of that, mostly because I love God, what's his face? Oh, Billy the Butcher,
oh, um,
right?
yeah,
Right? Is your
yeah,
mind blanking? Thank you.
uh, he's in like one big
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oscar.
Daniel
Yeah,
Day-Lewis.
there you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Can you just, like, see his face and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm seeing him in that other movie though, like Oil movie or whatever it is. But I I've never seen Gangs in New York. I've only seen parts of it, I think. And at
Oh,
the time, I was never like I just wasn't into that aesthetic, that era or whatever.
sure.
And sort of now after watching Taboo, the show with Tom Hardy, this is be a little earlier than that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But similar,
Mhm.
I kind of
Mhm.
vibe with that. The sort
For
of
sure.
top hats and the sort of early America, coming into its own sort of thing. Um, so I would be up to watching that now. That's my point. Whereas before I wouldn't be into that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
oh, okay. So
Yeah,
okay, he said never
he's
mind.
mistaken.
Yeah, because it's like I didn't know Gary Oldman was in it, but I was taking his word for it. So okay.
Yeah, I was searching through my, like, character book. I mean, there are a lot of, um, great actors in there, a lot of familiar faces, but yeah, no, Gary Oldman's not in it. Sorry, honey.
hmm Well, I'm sure we can get to um him no problem.
I mean, we could also get to Keanu Reeves, no problem, if we do Bram Stoker's Dracula. If we stick with Gary Oldman, we could just, like, take a little detour.
Ah, yeah. I love that movie
Talk about
even
a
though
talk about a movie I haven't seen in a while.
oh, see, I used to watch that every Halloween. That was like one of my
Mm.
Halloween movies for a while. So I've definitely seen that
Queen
one
of
a
the
fair
Damned
amount of times.
is my
Right.
vampire movie.
Yes. Mhm. I I understand yours for like a fun Halloween every year movie. I kinda watched Underworld as well, that was my version of
Yeah.
that.
It's
So,
like the fun Halloween one, not like
yeah.
I'm going to it for, like, scares or, thrills
Mhm.
or anything, really.
A lot of people have problems with Bram Stoker's Dracula, but, I like it a lot for a lot of reasons, so, yeah.
One thing that ties Bram Stoker's Dracula with, Gangs of New York is they both have actors with terrible accents.
Oh, who is Terrible Accent in Gangs of New York?
Cameron Diaz, it's
Oh, okay.
rough. Her accent is rough. Not that she does, like, a bad job overall, I think. She does, like, a fine job. I wouldn't say she's a standout performance, but woof.
Okay.
The accent is, tough to hear.
It's sad when you have the one, it's kinda like Les Miserables, and it's like Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe can sing, but he's not for this
He's not
role,
on these
okay?
right, he's not on these people's level, man.
No, no.
Yeah.
And it's just unfair to him, It's not
Yep.
I don't hold anything against him, he just shouldn't have been cast. It's not the
Yep.
so and Keanu Reeves and Dracula, yeah, that's not good, but
Great. It's not great. I mean, he tries, like, it's
yeah.
not the worst one I've ever heard, but again, among the cast, you just sort of hear it and you're like, "Ooh."
Mhm, mhm, yep. Okay, well, those are some options, everyone. Let us know what you think.
Mhm.
Thank you to Killing the Flower for a theme song. Make sure you check them out on music streaming services. Um, Trackmouse 34 on YouTube. That's our friend Mike. He does racing videos. He's going to be getting out. Um, racing season's coming up, so we'll see
Mhm.
what happens with him, and might have our sticker on our decal on his car, so that'll be cool. And then MJ Honeybee, she is a Dead by Daylight streamer, primarily, and she usually streams like 3 times a week or something like that. So make sure you check her out on Twitch, MJ Honeybee. And Peter J. Gilbertson, he has a cool set of different like horror, paranormal, kind of creepy short stories. Most of them you can get them on Amazon for only like $2 and stuff. Or you get them digitally and some of that. And they're a lot of fun. I've read all of them. So Peter J. Gilbertson, Make sure you check those out. Our podcast here at Popcast on the Rocks. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, all those sorts of things. A thumbs up on YouTube helps. Subscribe there. If you're on podcast services, that's cool too. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That'd be appreciated. We live stream on X, Twitch, YouTube. So take your pick. And if you're into anime content, make sure you follow our channel, Ohio Anime. That's OH. Let's see. I don't usually spell it in my head.
AY.
OHAYOU.
Yep.
So anime. It's a little off for me to say Ohio properly, and then for me to say anime improperly. It would be Ohio anime, but whatever, I guess, let's
You
deal
got
with
it.
it. Yeah. So, anyways, that'll do it from us. I finished off a bottle of whiskey tonight, actually, an Irish whiskey. It's more due.
Cheers.
Yeah, not often does a bottle of whiskey become empty around here. We usually try to keep rotating them and keep saving it, And we didn't save it anymore. We grabbed the moment, Andrea, and finished it
You
off.
did. See, you opened and you finished that bottle.
Yep. It took
Live
years,
in the
but
now.
yep. All right. Well, that's our show. Andrea, thanks once again for joining me.
Of course, as always. Cheers, everybody.